Let me take you back to a middle-class housing society in Noida, where a woman named Rekha Singh ruled her home with manicured hands and a sharp tongue. Rekha's maid, Savita, had been working for her for nearly 6 years. A petite woman with tired eyes, bangles too loose on her wrists, and hands cracked from detergent. Savita was a widow. Her husband, a factory worker, had died in an accident when their daughter was just 7. That daughter's name was Chavi, a shy, slender girl with 2 long braids, always wearing oversized gowns and carrying a worn-out notebook like it was a piece of gold. Chavi would sit silently in a corner while her mother worked, eyes wide, always observing. "Keep her away from my Aisha," Rekha would hiss. "I don't want her learning bad habits." Aisha, Rekha's only child, was the pampered apple of her mother's eye. She went to a good school, had a tutor for every subject, and played the piano, poorly. Chavi, on the other hand, was calm, always reading books she borrowed from a school library she wasn't even enrolled in. Sometimes, Chavi would ask softly, "Auntie, may I sit in the kitchen while Mummy finishes?" Rekha would glance without smiling. "Just don't touch anything," Rekha would reply. The girl would sit with her notebook, scribbling math sums and copying sentences from a tattered English grammar book. The aroma of basmati rice, paneer, and roasted jeera would fill the air, food she never tasted. One afternoon, Rekha's friend Rima dropped by. Seeing Chavi, she asked, "Who's this?" Rekha's reply was sharp. "Savita's girl. Comes and sits like she's part of the family. Wants to be a collector or something. As if that's for people like her." Chavi heard that. She didn't react. She just kept writing. She has been taught not to talk back at or insult her elders. One evening, Aisha fell violently ill. Vomiting, cold sweat breaking out. Rekha panicked. Her husband was on a trip. She didn't know how to drive, and the maid hadn't come that day. Chavi, only 13 then, stepped forward without being asked. "Auntie, we should sponge her head. I can run to the chemist. I know what helps." She returned in 15 minutes with ORS, paracetamol, and a cold, wet towel. By midnight, Aisha's fever broke. Rekha didn't thank her. Instead, she said coldly, "Don't touch my daughter again. You people carry all sorts of infections." Chavi stood there shocked. She strolled out to a corner to cry. After that, she packed her books and left. That was the night something broke, not in Chavi, but in fate, in the universe. Chavi studied harder than ever. When her mother was too sick to work, she started helping other kids with tuition, 30 rupees for each child. She saved every rupee, bought secondhand books, applied for every free scholarship she could find. She studied under streetlights, on temple steps, and even during lunch breaks at a tailoring shop where she worked weekends. One night, while going through her old notes in the tiny kitchen of their rented room, she told her mother, "Mummy, one day I will have a company of my own." Savita smiled weakly. "That's good, my child, but remember, the world doesn't treat girls like us with kindness." Chavi replied, eyes firm, "Then I'll become so good they'll have no choice." Years passed. Aisha finished her MBA from a private university in Bangalore. She graduated with a result just enough to land her in interviews, thanks to her father's contacts. Chavi, now a BSc graduate in chemistry, got selected for a government innovation program that funded low-budget beauty product startups with sustainable ingredients. She built something out of nothing. A small skincare brand from her mother's old recipes, neem, tulsi, besan, turmeric. She named it Asya, Sanskrit for hope. With 3,000 rupees seed money and borrowed jars, Chavi began mixing, branding, and selling. She toiled day and night, spent sleepless nights setting up her own business while working in a company. Gradually, what started in WhatsApp groups exploded on Instagram. In 2 years, Asya Chavi's brand became a viral sensation. By year 3, she had celebrity endorsements and investment offers. She moved operations to Gurugram. She took her mother with her, took care of her, and on her mother's birthday, she bought a sari for her that cost more than their rent. It was early 2024 when Rekha saw a job opening at Asia for a brand and outreach officer. Her now 26-year-old daughter, Aisha, applied. She got shortlisted. Neither of them recognized the brand founder's name. Rekha insisted on accompanying her for the interview, as always. They entered the building, polished marble floors, jasmine-scented air, interns typing on MacBooks. Rekha was impressed. Then, a young HR girl smiled and said, "Ma'am, our CEO personally loves to interview the final candidates, so you should be with her shortly." They were led into a quiet conference room, and there she was, Chavi. Hair tied in a bun, a crisp linen sari, bindi, and calm eyes. Behind her, a plaque read, "Chavi Sharma, co-founder and CEO." Rekha froze. Her throat dried, her lips parted slightly, but no sound came out. Aisha whispered, "Isn't that?" Chavi stood, folded her hands, and said with grace, "Namaste, Auntie. Namaste, Aisha. Please, have a seat." Rekha sat down like her knees gave out. Aisha tried to smile. Chavi opened a folder and went through Aisha's resume. "You've done well, Aisha. Some nice internships. But tell me, what have you built? Any campaign you led fully on your own?" Aisha stammered. I mostly worked in teams, but I'm a quick learner." Chavi nodded, then looked directly at Rekha. "Auntie, do you remember when you said I'd be lucky to become a receptionist?" Rekha turned red. "But that was years ago. I didn't mean—" Chavi cut in gently. "It's okay. I'm not angry. In fact, I'm thankful. You see, those words became my fuel. That receptionist built a company. And we now employ 87 women, many from the same backgrounds you once dismissed." She stood up. "Aisha, you're capable. But we're looking for someone who's walked through fire, not someone who's been babysitted from cradle." She smiled. "You'll do fine, just not here." In the car, Rekha didn't speak for a long time. Then she quietly said, "I used to tell myself that class and background meant everything, that people like her shouldn't sit with people like us. Today, she didn't sit with us. We sat in front of her." Aisha looked down. They both realized the walls they built to separate people had crumbled under the weight of karma. Today, Asia is a household name. Chavi speaks at schools, hires women from underserved areas, and funds education programs for daughters of domestic workers. One day, during a TV interview, the anchor asked, "What kept you going when no one believed in you?" Chavi smiled. "Sometimes, disbelief is the best motivation. I just wanted to prove to one person, myself, that I was enough." Never look down on someone because of their circumstance, because the girl who once waited outside your gate might own the house next door tomorrow. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, kindly give us a huge thumbs up. Click the like button, and if you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please kindly join the family. You will love it here. Till next time, stay safe.